5.5 yards per completion in the first game, 5 yards in the second game. Last week, 4.3 yards per completion, not per attempt, per completion, with the yardage after the catch included. So do you think we're saying less?
What's going on, folks, and welcome into Monkey Night Fight preview show for Thursday night football. I'm Connor Rowntree. I have a ray of sun coming over my face, but it's all good because I got this beautiful Monkey Night Fight hat on. And that's our boy, Jim Coventry, the man who has the alpha receivers. Now, you want to talk about alpha dogs and you want to talk about alpha receivers. Well, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys because Tennessee doesn't have any. Yeah, it really is. We're at that point of the season. You have CeeDee Lamb. He's been going off the last few weeks. The Dallas Cowboys take care of business on Christmas Eve. What a football game that was. Gardner Minshew, all credit to him, made it a heck of a game. However, Jim, I don't think this is going to be much of a game. Derrick Henry out. What the Titans are doing, just so everyone at home can understand, is win or lose this week, they can get pulverized by the Cowboys, which they will, and still battle next week against the Jags and get into the playoffs and get into the postseason. So, well, tonight's projections might be very favorable to the Cowboys. Have no fear, Titans fans. Jim, how you doing today?
Oh, we're doing well. And you know what? Hey, every game in the NFL has value. But Connor, I'll tell you what I've seen, especially this year, but over my decades of covering sports. When a team doesn't have players, the other team mentally knows this. They'll tell themselves to take that team seriously. But in the back of their mind, they can't do that. We see teams 15, 17-point dogs lose outright, and we have no way of quantifying that. Now, you mentioned the important situation with Tennessee. Not only are they down Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, the defensive side of the ball, 8 of their regular 11 starters are out. Now, 2 of those were injured reserve players, so 6 of them will be doubtful or out, so they're not playing tonight. And their pass rush, 2 top pass rushers out. Should say 3. Their top cornerback out. Strong safety out. So, yes, like you said, this is a mess. Now, Dallas, Tony Pollard, per Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, is very much in doubt to play. Didn't practice all week. They don't need him here. Don't expect Pollard out there. Dallas, an important injury, I would say. Even though the Titans are playing with all backups on their offensive line, some of those have been long-term, Dallas is without their middle linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch. He is the linchpin of their run defense. And if Dallas doesn't take this game seriously, they will give up rushing yardage despite a poor offensive line they're facing. Because Dallas is all about the pass rush.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that breakdown, Jim. And you know what? Let's jump right into it with the quarterbacks here. I mean, we got one side that's super exciting and one side that's really bad. Now, one thing I need to note here, Jim, because I think it's astounding. I think this is an astounding stat. Malik Willis, QBR, his quarterback rating through 3 games on a scale of 0 to over 150 is a 12. 12. We can hate on Baker Mayfield. We can poop on Baker Mayfield's Fruit Loops. However, this boy has a QBR of 12.
Ugh. Well, so we look at his numbers, all right? And we say, okay, he started 3 games. He had 55 yards in the first game. And then the second game, 80. All right. Third game, 99. And that sounds like improvement. It's not, because his pass attempts went up. He went from 10 to 16 to 23. Here's where the cold water comes in. Per completion.
Oh, here yet? The cold
water? Yeah, no, it's
not
even close. Not even close. 5.5 yards per completion in the first game. 5 yards in the second game. Last week, 4.3 yards per completion. Not per attempt, per completion. With the yardage after the catch included. So do you think we're saying less?
Yeah,
Unless he's thrown the ball 90 times. If he's thrown the ball 90 times, he might get there.
I mean, the thing is like, we have a lot of fun on this show. We've broken down multiple games this season, essentially every team for Thursday Night Football. The last Thursday Night Football matchup of the year, Jim, I'm sure we'll get back together. I'm sure MKF will have us hooked up. However, my point is holy smokes, I do not think Malik Willis is an NFL level. He's not NFL caliber. And it's proven, like, why I don't want to have to watch this. All right, well, let's switch it over here. Dak Prescott, I mean, here's the guy that can go out and get the job done, right? I mean, Dak knows what's on the line here. They're chasing Philadelphia. They got the job done last week. Man, I don't see Dak and CeeDee Lamb slowing down.
In theory, you're right. There's no way they should slow down here. But how does Dallas approach this game? Do they come in saying we need to light it up through the air? Or do they just say, you know what, Zeke, run the ball? David Long, their middle linebacker, out. Jeffrey Simmons, their defensive end, is out. Their two outside linebackers are out. They got two decent defensive linemen that are playing, but that's two of like 7 run stoppers. So does it start with Zeke? And if they get rolling on the ground, will they be motivated to throw? So I think Prescott and, like you said, Lamb, I think to a degree they get it done. But how much do they need them? Either Dallas gets out to a big enough lead, they may not play the second half. If they play this game smart and they come out sharp, they could be up 20-0 at halftime. Do they even bring in Prescott for the second half, or does Cooper Rush come in? That's the question we have to ask. So framing Prescott's number, if we knew he was playing a full game, if we knew the game would be competitive, sure, he's going over. There's too many variables going against it because of the potential game flow. I have him at 225 yards. That's my projection. And I think it's a moderate projection. I don't think I'm like undershooting too far. So I'm going to say less on that, Connor.
Yeah, I'm going to ride with the less with you as well, Jim. As you said, they don't need, like, they realistically should not need him. That's what it's going to come down to. And I think everyone watching our show together, Jim, and that keep coming back, and we talk on Twitter, and what you and I talk about is projected game script, right? And that's how we get to our numbers. And I don't see the pressure there from Dak. Absolutely love the breakdown. Now, let's talk about the running back. Not Tony Pollard, obviously. We got Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry out. So let's go to the Salvation Army bin tonight, if you will, Jim. What's your projection for Zeke tonight? Because if I'm looking at it subjectively, if Pollard is in the lineup, they don't need him. However, the Bucs got to stop somewhere, and if Dallas is going to get yards tonight, it's probably going to be through Zeke.
You know, Connor, when we look at the game, and a lot of people, when they're doing their research, they're going to see Tennessee is one of the 3 best run defenses in the league. We cannot stress enough of the players who are out. 8 of their starting 11 are out in this game. This is not a good run defense today, because they can't be a good run defense today because they simply do not have the bodies or the motivation. So with Tony Pollard, again, per Tom Pelissero, he didn't practice. He's not expected to play. Zeke will get usage early. Zeke runs hot early in games. For him to get to 59 yards, not a problem. Zeke has to get 15 carries in this game. He gets 15 carries. I believe it's 5 yards a pop. I have him at 75 yards in this game with room for a bit more.
Yeah, well, you know me, I love to shoot my projections high on the running backs. I have them for 82 yards. So I'm comfortably taking the more here on Ezekiel Elliott. And, well, you know what, Jim? What I love about you is that we could talk any position on the field. We could talk any skill position, from tight end to wide receiver to Taysom Hill. Hey, yes. Whatever the heck that Swiss Army knife is. However, we're here for a touchdown dance now, because let's not waste our time. What are we going to do? Projections for like we're not here to watch these lower line projections. So let's get right into this touchdown dance. I think I said the name right off the bat. I think CeeDee Lamb scores. I think he scores early. And I think Dak gets 3 out of 4 games, over 100 yards. That trend continues. CeeDee Lamb finds pay dirt. He gets the job done. I think Ezekiel Elliott finds pay dirt and gets the job done. However, folks, we do have to pick a Titan.
We do.
I genuinely think this game's going to be like 27-3. So this is, I don't know. I don't think a Titan is going to score a touchdown. I don't have the Titans projected to score a touchdown. I don't even know. Jim, like, I'm so comfortable with Zeke and CeeDee Lamb that who do we take on the Titans?
So we have 2 options here. In the limited attempts Malik Willis has thrown, he loves throwing to the tight ends. He's thrown multiple passes in each game he's played. Austin Hooper, 3 targets, 4 targets, and 3 targets. And they've connected on most of those. Chiggy Okonkwo, 3 targets, 5 targets, 2 targets. It's not a lot. But if they get in the red zone, he loves the tight ends. Austin Hooper is very good in the red zone. Your other option is this. Remember, Dallas could pull starters if they get a lead. Hassan Haskins is a 227-pound battering ram back who's supposed to, per Tom Pelissero, have a heavy workload in place of Derrick Henry. If Dallas is playing backups, we could get a 4th quarter rushing touchdown. So honestly, I think Hassan Haskins rates a little bit above the tight ends because, again, late in the 4th quarter, 2 minutes left, it could be Haskins plowing it in for pay dirt.
I like the breakdown. All right, well, let's jump into game predictions here. I just said mine. I have it 27-3 Cowboys. I don't like how this under keeps creeping down. However, Tennessee cannot score points. They have scored less than 20 points in 8 of the last 10 games.
Connor, I still think mentally Dallas is not going to be able to get up for this game. They are not going to be motivated when they know this is a team of backup players they're facing. And Dallas, like you said, they'll win. The disparity in talent is that far. But I think Dallas sleepwalks through this game. So I think Tennessee gets that late touchdown, and I think Dallas wins 23-10. So when that point spread is jumping up throughout the day, it was at 12.5, 1 point. It's going to get to 14, 14.5. If it gets over 14, I'm saying Tennessee, like most teams this year, anytime we had big dogs, they've usually covered when it didn't make sense. It's going to make sense here.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this, Jim, just for people at home and just so people know where your comfortability is with that line. I mean, 10.5 seems pretty solid for the Cowboys, but as you said, I don't think you'd play it past 14, correct?
Yeah, I would start at 14.5. If the line goes to 14.5, I will take it. If it's less than 14, I won't. If it's 14, it's just a fade because I think that 14 is right at that break point. But if you give me 2 touchdowns plus, again, that backdoor cover is going to factor in because Dallas, if they have that kind of a lead, they will not have starters on the field late.
I absolutely love it. Jim Coventry, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Jim, let the fun people know where they can get all that awesome football content.
Yeah, give me a follow at Jim Coventry NFL on Twitter. I do threads really all week long. I give you player trends, what's emerging, player prop trends. We do video on RotoWire YouTube 5 times a week, including a start-sit live stream on Sundays, 2 hours before kickoff. You can catch me on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Channel 87, Saturdays 1 to 3 Eastern, Sundays 9 to 10 Eastern, and always on RotoWire.com.
Yeah, absolutely love it, Jim. Thank you for the breakdown, my good friend. And just another thing, guys. Jim, reach out on Twitter. I do guarantee you that is a good follow. You reach out, you message him, and he does get back to you. He's one of those honest, hardworking guys. He's just like us, ladies and gentlemen, and he's here for us to get the job done for fantasy sports. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Connor Rowntree. That's Jim Coventry. Enjoy Thursday night football.